Hi, everybody. This is Ryan with another episode of If You Don't Have It, You Can't Sell It. Today, I'm again joined by Craig Barnell of Fishers Finery. And today, we wanted to talk about the story of Fishers Finery, how it got its start, and how it developed its catalog of items, growing from only a handful of items to over 3,000 SKUs. And we're going to talk about adding SKUs, removing SKUs over its history, and building a complementary catalog that has benefited Fisher's Finery in terms of sales and ad spend over the years. And so, at that note, I'm going to hand it off to Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Uh, it's not often I travel the journey back to the beginning, but it's a really wonderful story, and we've lived it together, right? So, for those of you who don't know, Ryan's been working together with me in different areas of Fisher's Finery, literally from the very beginning when he was still in college. So it's been a wonderful journey together. But Ryan, if you remember, that goes all the way back to the day we went live, November 4th, 2013, on Amazon. We did not have a Shopify store at that time. Amazon had what was called Amazon Web Store. For those of us who remember, it was a highly templated website tool that allowed you to build your URL inside Seller Central. The advantage was with only myself and Kyle and some part-time help from Ryan to get this thing going, uh, we really didn't have a lot of resources. So the focus was Amazon. It wasn't off Amazon. So we built our website in Amazon Web Store. Again, highly templated, but single content management was, one area to put the photo, one area to create the listing, and it covered both sides. So we go live November 4th, 2013. We had 18 parent products, approximately 300 SKUs. Silk pillowcases were one of the high value products that we had discovered that we were going to go to market with. We did have some cashmere hat gloves and scarves. The value proposition for cashmere at the time was the research we did with Google and Google Analytics and other tools was that cashmere has a high value moniker from a luxury perspective. And the goal was to create a somewhat elevated brand. We also went to war with some really high-end robes, like the type you'd find hanging on the door at a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons, and some other products to round out a little bit of the catalog. So we go live. We sell about $300,000 worth of product from November 4th to the end of the year. And without having super sophisticated tools, we're using spreadsheets to monitor what's selling, what's not selling, when we need to order. Uh, Things took off really quickly in 2014. We'd hit $1 million in sales by June, 2 million by the end of that year, and we were off to the races to figure out, you know, where we wanted to go, what products we were going to add, what was selling best, what we need to order more of, what's not turning, let's not order that, doing all that on a spreadsheet. And then lo and behold, Amazon deprecated Amazon Web Store and suggested that vendors using Web Store go look at Shopify. So uh, the Nicole on who's now on our team full time, that back then she was, just helping us on a per diem basis. She was ecstatic, right? Get off this highly templated environment, go to a real shopping cart tool. We go into Shopify and we build what Shopify does by collection. And we find that we have a whole bunch of products that are a collection of one. Well, that's not really a collection, right? It's a product. So that we had to hit pause. If you remember, Ryan, we looked at what's the difference between a very highly vertically oriented sales channel like Amazon was at the time. Now, today, they're not like that, right? Today, you can market products in your catalog to customers. Let's say if they're looking for, in our collection, our towels, we can show them that we sell certified Egyptian cotton sheets. We can also show them that we sell silk pillowcases and then robes and, but 12 years ago, 13 years ago, none of that existed. You got dropped into a vertical search node and that was it. So you go from that highly templated, highly vertically oriented world to Shopify, which is by collection, and we say, oh my God, we have a whole bunch of collections of one. So the website looked ridiculous. So we hit pause and we took the data and we said, okay, who are our customers? What do we know about them? We were able to get, through the downloads of all the data, we were able to see who the people are that are buying our products. Women are the predominant purchasers of silk pillowcases, well over 90%. So once we understood and took a more granular look that 54% of our customers' first interaction with our brand was born of silk pillowcases, and then we began to look at what complementary products are they buying? So we'd always wanted to be a lifestyle brand, and we're still not there yet, but we're working at it. Well, but what we did back then, and that's going back 8 years, is we paused and we said, okay, if our foray into the household is going to be a silk pillowcase, benefits hair, sleep, and skin, wonderful products, very low return rate, people love them, high value product. If we can create an environment through packaging and the way that we thank the customer for their purchase and the way that we provide a free wash bag and all of the affirmations that we put in so that when the customer who took the leap of faith to hit the button to buy the product gets that package and opens it, do we create a proposition that the customer understands that we value them and that we're going to meet or exceed expectations? Thankfully, knock on wood, the answer has been yes. And to this date now, we're still between 30 and 40% repeat customer rate, even though our top funnel number of customers doubles year over year. So that part of it's worked out really well. But back to the original premise, why did we develop the catalog that almost looks disjointed when you just read the products one by one? Yes, we have a really good concentration in home goods. We've got the pillowcases, the sheets, and the towels. They're all complementary. But how does that fit in with women's yoga pants or a nightshirt or a hair towel or men's silk boxers or women's silk pajamas or sea glass jewelry, and some of the other products that we offer? And we've had some fails, Ryan. We launched a complete maternity line that just we couldn't get the turn rate fast enough and had to, pause that. Maybe we'll bring it back in the future someday, but it just didn't work when we launched it 6 years ago. So in today's iteration, what we do is we track the repeat customer rate and the engagement per customer after the first purchase. So we know that even now, we're actually a little higher than 54% with first purchase intent being the silk pillowcase. So the question is, if we exceed expectation, establish that affirmation with the customer that we value them, and we earn the right to ask for a second sale. So Ryan, no different than your wife or my wife, every 99.9% have some form of women's athleisure, whether it's a sleep shirt, a pajama, a chemise. We do both our eco fabric and the silk. So if our foray into the household is through the silk pillowcase, where can we conquest additional sales as long as our brand meets or exceeds expectation and we maintain the proper value in the brand? And so what we see is, and I have the data right here. Thank you. Ryan has been very patient in teaching me how to use Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini, and I'm actually taking a course on how to do better prompting. But here's what I've learned. Of customers that purchase a silk pillowcase, 78.6 of a second-time customer engage with our eco fabric line. Of customers women that purchase eco fabric, 74% of them come back and buy a second eco fabric product. In the men's collection, the number one product men engage with our catalog is cashmere. Of men that purchase from our cashmere collection, 75% of them come back and buy another product. If a customer engages outside of silk pillowcases, the number one product class is bedding, still bedding. But if someone buys our sheets, 74% of those people come back and buy another product. If a woman engages or a female engages with our athleisure brand, 57.89% of those people come back and buy bedding. So I guess to answer your question, Ryan, if we already know people have bedding on their bed, we already know that the vast majority of women have athleisure, a pajama, a robe, a hair towel, a chemise. And since those buying habits are already established, if our brand can be introduced and exceed expectation and create an affirmation that we value the customer and earn the right to ask to conquest additional sales horizontally across the household, we've done that well. And then as gifting has taken over, we spend a substantial amount of resources on our presentation. I mean, some of our products, the packaging alone is $8. So for that reason, we've become even stickier with people who are purchasing our products to, give as gifts for weddings and Christmas and, anniversaries. So that journey has been wonderful.
That's fantastic to hear. And We also at Inventory Optimizer have many tools as you're growing your business, as you're making these changes, as you're deciding to go in different directions, different product lines, for launching new products, for retiring older products. We have the ability to copy sales history from existing products, move that sales history to a newly introduced product to help you create that first PO. Um, all of that can be demonstrated to you if you schedule a meeting with us, and we can sit down and do an evaluation of your company, determine what your needs are, see if you need any of our managed services, or if you just want to have access to our application and you could run it yourself. Or if you want to do a hybrid approach where you use our application as well as using our managed services, and do some of it yourself and some of it you hand over to us. So I thank everybody out there for joining us again today, listening to the story of Fishers Finery. And again, if you want to talk about that story, talk about your own story, hear more about that, please comment below or reach out to us directly with the details below in the video as well. So thank you everybody for joining us again, and thank you, Craig.
Talk soon, Ryan.
Bye bye.